Where do you start with a story like that?
He's coming this way. Oh, being his friendly self.
You know, even as a toddler, John was he was just busy. You know, he required a lot of attention. It was exhausting at times, especially when he was really, no, pretty much all the time. he, he was one of those kids that he just was always testing the waters. I remember one of my earliest memories was I remember he was a tiny baby. We had only been home a few days, and I still remember sitting on the sofa with him, feeling so incredibly blessed and grateful. And I remember thinking, I never want to forget this day with this little infant because life is so good right now. Life is perfect. Of course, life is never perfect, right? In about ninth grade, Jonathan started smoking pot, smoked a lot of pot. And, you know, eventually that led to bigger drugs. After he graduated high school, he and some friends went to a party, and I guess there were a lot of pills at the party, and he and his friends decided it would be a good idea to steal stuff. And so he was arrested. That's when I knew, because they found this bottle of Oxy on him. And little by little, I felt like my son was starting to slip away in some ways. His use got progressively worse. And he knew when he stopped taking the pills and he started getting sick that he was addicted. He was full-blown addicted to opioids when he was 18 or 19. By the time he was 21, he was addicted to heroin. But in some ways, he was able to manage his addiction and have this life, you know, where he had many close friends, good people. In 2014, he attempted suicide. And it was that point when I decided that my life had to change. I knew that I couldn't control what was happening, but what I knew I could do is I could learn how to be a more effective partner in helping my son manage his disease. And so I started to learn as much as I could, and I started to advocate. And as I began advocating, I began learning that one of the things that we need more of is we need more people who are in recovery, supporting people in recovery. My whole career, I was a business consultant, a business coach. I thought, you know what? I am a trainer. I mean, by my background, I'm a trainer. Why don't I learn how to actually deliver this training? And I will train people to become recovery coaches and peer advocates. And maybe those people will be able to fill that gap. In December, this past December, he called us, and it was just before Christmas, and we were all supposed to be together for Christmas. And he said, I've had a relapse, and I won't be able to join you for Christmas. I started feeling, even before he went into rehab, that this was going to be a really bad time. He left treatment early. He had just gotten back that morning, and he called me, and he sounded great. He was going to go home and do laundry. And so we said goodbye, and of course, I love you. Never hung up with John without saying I love you. The next day, his roommate's girlfriend decided to check on John because she hadn't heard from him. So she went into his room and she saw him, and her immediate response was to call 911, and her next call was to me. And then all of the lights went out for me. I just started screaming. No, 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 no. No, this wasn't possible. It wasn't possibly happening.
Right, we're taking some goodies over there, aren't we? All right, let's go.
He had 20 bags, and he used 2 of them. And he died on the second one.
Getting the landscape I want.
And that's when I began realizing how many lives John had touched. You know, even during his relapses, these friends never abandoned him. And they were so good to him, and he was so good to them. They loved him, and he loved them. I was able to enjoy a relationship with John that most parents don't have with their healthy kids, because I always knew that the future was not promised. I knew every time I saw him and left him that it might be the last time. We talked at a gut level, and it wasn't always easy, but it was always real. And I learned that my being angry at John wasn't helpful. That the most helpful thing I could do is just love him unconditionally. And so I did, and I have no regrets.